Have you ever wanted to take a transatlantic cruise? How about repositioning yourself from the US to Europe or back or even somewhere in Asia? We just got off a 14-night transatlantic cruise and we want to share with you our experience on the Royal Caribbean Odyssey of the Seas, how to save a lot of money on a repositioning cruise, whether you could even survive given all those sea days. So let's jump right in. We sailed from Fort Lauderdale, Florida, and we ended up in Rome, Italy. What's a repositioning cruise? A cruise that's going to take you from the US to Europe, but you're going to do it in style. It can take you back from Europe all the way back to the US, also in style. In fact, there's repositioning cruises that can take you from the west coast of the United States all the way to Tahiti if you want, and back again. There's even repositioning cruises that you can take from Asia down into Australia and New Zealand. These are some of the best kept secrets in cruising. By far, the best value that you can find per night, per cabin, and it covers everything: your room, your food, your entertainment. In fact, this is the fourth one that we've done. So let's take you through the pros and the cons of our most recent experience on the Royal Caribbean Odyssey of the Seas.
And not only that, it also includes your transportation.
We left out of Florida and we sailed to Rome. So we had 15 days, 14 nights. We had 4 stops, 4 ports of calls.
We went to the Azores, the beautiful Portuguese islands in the middle of the Atlantic. We also went to, Malaga, Spain, Cartagena, Spain, and La Spezia in Italy, very close to Florence.
You might be doing the math on that. That's 4 stops, but wait a minute, we had 14 nights. So yes, that means a lot of sea days. So you do have to be comfortable keeping yourself busy. We work remotely in both of our businesses, so that keeps us very busy as long as we have good internet. And we did on this cruise. But there's a lot to do on a cruise ship.
You can go to the spa, you can go to the gym, you can do a lot of eating, you can do some drinking as well.
But you probably do need to be somebody who can keep yourself busy a little bit. I think you do need to be somebody who doesn't mind being on the internet, on your iPad, on your laptop, maybe reading a book, hanging out by the pool. If you need a lot of action all the time, you definitely want to do a transatlantic on a big ship like the Royal Caribbean Odyssey of the Seas. You do not want to do it on a small ship. We love sailing on small ships. This isn't the first time we've done it. We've taken a celebrity cruise back from Europe. We've also taken one from Singapore down to Australia. And we even took one recently from New York to Iceland to get us from the US over towards Europe. So you can see you can do this a lot of different ways. All right, now the big question is, how much did you pay for this? So we paid $2,347 for the 15-day, 14-night cruise. Now, I compare it to what it would have cost me to fly to Europe, because we needed to get to Europe, what those hotel days would have cost, what the food would have cost, because remember, for half a month, we were taken care of, and we were taken care of really nicely. So I did a quick estimate. I said, okay, if you flew coach, which I have another video on how you can fly business class for about $10, $11, so I'll put a link to that down below. But I assume $1,500 for flights, $200 a day for a good quality hotel, not a great hotel, by the way, certainly not as nice as where we stayed on this ship, and about $100 a day for food. And again, that's probably going to just get you by for a couple. And if you're in the US these days, that's probably $200 a day for restaurants and all that sort of thing. Remember, we ate out for 15 days in a row, from breakfast, lunch, dinner, desserts, everything else. So that ended up to $5,700. So we had the same 2 weeks. It would have cost us at least over double. And I think I actually underestimated probably what it would have cost. Now, there are some extra expenses when you cruise.
One of the big extras, especially for us, is internet, beverages, but we'll get to that in a moment. Gratuities are also extra, and then excursions. And we will show you that you don't have to pay those expensive ship excursions. There are a lot of different options with excursions as well. One other thing that we did is bid for an upgrade. So we didn't get it, but if we had, then that could have also added to our total bill.
And internet's totally optional. If you want to unplug, you can. We want to be plugged in. It's great entertainment. You can stream videos. You can stream YouTube like this. You can watch our channel. You can watch Netflix. So these days, internet's amazing on board. It is not inexpensive. I'll cover the cost of that in a moment. Like Monica mentioned, we have a great way to save a ton of money on excursions. We have a video on that. I'll leave a link down below. All right, so let's do the fight between the pros and the cons when it comes to a transatlantic cruise. So I'm going to cover a few of the pros, and then we'll go back and forth here. Without question, dining choices. We had 17 different dining choices. We never went hungry, and we certainly never got bored. Really easy to relax. Like, we're traveling remotely and working as well, and we're traveling full time. You don't need to be traveling full time to take one of these. You just may need to get from the US to Europe and do it in style and not have that crazy adjustment, right, to the time zones. It's really gradual. with a transatlantic cruise. You have your hotel room and you get daily cleaning. You got plenty of entertainment. You have activities.
We always take advantage of a gym whenever there's one available, and they had an amazing gym on board this ship. It was probably the biggest gym on a ship that I've ever seen, and tons of cardio machines, and they're all very high quality, brand new, and with a great view. Also, a spa and a salon allowed us to catch up on some of those haircuts and things like that that had been lapsing, especially if you're high maintenance like some of us. Anyway.
By the way, we did all this for less than $100 per day per person. I think that's pretty great because these days when I'm booking hotels, we were booking hotels in Rome when we got off the ship, and I was in shock. Like every hotel room was $500 per night just for the hotel room. We're talking, $200 for both of us for the night, all inclusive, everything. Pretty darn impressive. Now, it's not perfect. There are definitely some cons that you have to understand. There's a lot of sea days. We've said this a few times. We had 9 sea days, I think. So we love them.
But for a lot of people, it may be a con.
Yeah, we gotta put that out there because it could drive some people crazy. We find that most people seem to love it. The dining, it's really good, but it's not luxurious. If you're somebody who's used to 5-star dining, you'll have a little glimpses of it at times, but that's not really what it's all about. It's just really solid, good tasting food. The shipboard excursions, when you get to those 4 stops, they're ridiculously pricey. I'm going to talk about that a little bit later, how we can save you a bunch of money on that. We actually wasted some money on, I think, a tour or 2 that we did that we just shouldn't have done. The internet is very expensive. I'll cover how much, but for us, we write it off as a business expense, but it can be high.
It's a large ship, so you have a lot of people. For us, that was an adjustment. It was the largest ship we'd been on in a long time. Although they do an amazing job at dispersing the crowd so you never feel like you're battling too much. You can eat as healthy as you want, but there are a lot of temptations too. As you'll see on any cruise ship, you have to be a little careful. And then the time zone changes just about every night. You would lose another hour, so that took a little getting used to.
Now, if you come back, it's awesome because then you set the clock back day after day. But it's super gradual, right? It's way better than having jet lag. So we had 0 jet lag. You just have a little bit of a gradual adjustment as you go. All right, so let's talk about food. There's a lot of dining options. We're not going to review all of them. On the right-hand side, you have our 1 to 5 rating of the dining choices. We'll probably just pick off a few here just so you understand what they are. Understand when you cruise on Royal Caribbean and really most cruise ships, you're going to have the main dining room. You're also going to have some specialty restaurants that are sold to you as an upcharge. They're totally optional. You don't have to go to them. We like to mix that in, especially, I think, on a 15-day, 14-night cruise. I think you may want to get a little bit of variation, but we talked to plenty of people who didn't go to any of the specialty restaurants, and they were perfectly happy because they do a great job varying the menus every night. In the main dining room, they have a theme each night. So the theme might be the Italian night, Mediterranean night. And what you'll find is about 1/2 to 2/3 of the menu is themed, and about another third up to a half is just a good cross-section of other choices. You're always going to have 6 different appetizers to choose from, 5, 6 main courses, several desserts. So it's unlikely you're going to run out of choices. The buffet is there for the breakfast, lunch, and dinner. We only used it for breakfast a few times and maybe lunch on occasion. Some of the specialty restaurants we loved Izumi. We actually went for lunch a couple times. We went for dinner, sushi. I think we even went to a sake and sushi pairing, which was really cool. We overslept and we missed the sushi making class. So we did miss out one time. I think we worked out too hard that day. Must have been, that's the reason we overslept.
Yeah.
And then there's a few other casual choices there that you can see. Pizza, the Cafe 270 is really cool in the back of the ship. You got wraps, paninis, salads, super easy, really nice, and really pretty healthy overall. But every single place has desserts, so good luck saying no. Entertainment. Is there good entertainment on this ship? I thought so. What did you think?
I think it's amazing on board because they put an awful lot of money into their productions and everything. So they have, I think, some of the best shows at sea.
Royal Caribbean does an A-plus job. They had, I think, 3 production shows on board. One was called The Book. Do not ask me to explain exactly what was going on, but visually it was incredible. It's in the 270 theater in the back of the ship. I know they spend millions of dollars on all these crazy big screen TVs, all the production, the special effects. Pretty amazing. And speaking of production shows that were pretty incredible, they have an original show called The Effectors.
The Effectors was amazing. It was a superhero Marvel type show with the villain and the good guys and they're battling, but the effects were spectacular. And at one point there was the villain who was singing, and there were dozens and dozens of drones flying the theater. I mean, it was really amazing.
The level of the performers
Yeah,
is
it
very
was.
impressive. Yeah, the singing, the dancing, it's quite good. Now, in addition to that, if you're not into the big shows, there are plenty of places around the ship that have singer-songwriters, guitars, vocalists, musicians. They have a lot of live musicians. I really appreciate that everything isn't just pumped in or recorded. Really nice to see people playing actual guitars, drums, actual instruments. Really cool. There's comedians. Usually they're pretty good. They're fun to go to. If you're into magic, there's magic. I don't think we did the magic, but hey, if that's you, awesome. There's trivia. There's a bunch more overall as far as entertainment goes. So there's plenty to do if you want to watch movies on a big screen. Outdoors with some popcorn, they have that too. You'll have plenty to do as far as that goes. All right, so let's give you a little bit of cruise tip. We'll talk about some things how we can save you some time, save you some money, especially if you're ready now to book a transatlantic or trans-Pacific cruise. All right, so one of the things I would always recommend is try to be a loyal if you can. There's a saying, loyal to royal, in the case of Royal Caribbean. The reason people say that is if you do go on at least your second cruise or more, you will start to get perks. So really after you complete your first cruise, by the second cruise, virtually every cruise line will start to give you some perks, just like hotel programs. In this case for us, we got private lounge access. They had their own separate food area. It was nice to work from there.
Yeah.
We got 4 drinks per day. Because, an alcoholic drink could be $13 to $15. So up to $60 value times 2 for each day if we wanted to use. We got laundry discounts, priority boarding, and a bunch of other stuff too, which is really nice. We're diamond level at Royal Caribbean. Is a lot of cruise lines will do some status matching. So sometimes if you have status on one cruise line, see if they have a status matching program. They may very well match it. Or in the case of Royal Caribbean, they also own celebrity cruises. So they'll match status between the two lines. They also own Silver Sea, which is way on the high end. So that's the luxury side of it. But again, they'll do status matching across the different lines. You might find that with Carnival. Carnival owns a lot of different lines, Carnival, Holiday America, Princess. So you may want to look into it on their lines as well. So don't be surprised if you can earn status in one area. Sometimes even a hotel program, a cruise line might be willing to match that.
For example, Virgin Voyages is also doing some status matching with hotel chains and some other cruise lines.
All right, big thing. Only buy the add-ons, the upsells, the upgrades when there are sales. There will be sales. You will get inundated with emails. Virtually every cruise line I think I've been booking on the last few years, they start to send promos right away. Do not pay full price. So specialty dining, the internet, excursion, spa, everything typically is on sale. 10% to 30%. There'll be a bunch of sales. You're going to get emails like this. This is an email I got today. 30% off, 35% off, 40% off. And this email went a lot longer. As we have a Royal Caribbean cruise coming up, we're taking the transatlantic back from Rome back to New York when we return from Europe in a few months. So they're sending me these promos all the time. So do not buy, do not hit buy now until you get a discount. And the discounts are significant. All right, avoid ship excursions if you can. They tend to be overpriced, overcrowded, too long, too short. Look, we've been on some good ones. I swear though, most of the times when we finish them, like, that wasn't that good. It wasn't worth the money. We could have done it ourselves. So there are exceptions. Maybe there's a port you're going to and you have a safety concern. We have been some places where very few, but we were a little concerned about, safety in that destination. It may be best to stay with the cruise. If you're going a long distance and you're worried about taking trains and ferries and all sort of stuff, and you may not make it back for the ship, you don't need that stress. Maybe it's worth just doing that with the ship. You're going to pay double, maybe triple, but it might be worth the peace of mind in those cases. That's the time I would consider it. I'm going to put a link to a video we did down below. UAI, Artificial Intelligence, ChatGPT. I'll show you exactly how to do it in 5 minutes, and you can actually make a perfect day in every single stop that you go to, and it's going to cost you hardly anything. Book early. Search for the best deals at cruise search engines. Cruiseplum.com is a great choice. What I'm going to do right now, I'm going to switch over and I'll show you a way that you can find some of the best transatlantic deals for the lowest amount of money. It's probably going to shock you when you see how inexpensive it can be. So I'm going to give you a really fast tutorial on how to use Cruise Plum to find amazing deals on the transatlantic, trans-Pacific repositioning cruises. And then I have a more complete tutorial, which I'll leave a link down below in the description, and you can watch that video. So when you go to Cruise Plum, there's a lot you can do, but what I would suggest is the first thing is you go here to search and go standard search. Start searching. I'm going to put in 2 passengers in the United States. It'll download a bunch of data, all the latest that it has on the cruises. Then you have a really pretty advanced search criteria on the left-hand side. There's a lot of different things you can click on here to get you exactly what you're after, but specifically for transatlantic and transpacific, let me show you where to go. On the left-hand side, just click region, and you'll see there's thousands of cruises to all these different places. But what you're looking for is transatlantic. And if you're interested in transpacific, you can do that as well. But I'm going to click transatlantic. The next thing you want to do is go ahead and look at the monthly calendar and figure out maybe when you'd be looking to do this, 25 to 2026. I'm going to pick 2025, and I'm going to aim for April, which you can see has the most transatlantic cruises. That's the season when they start to move the ships over to Europe. And then you're going to see back in the fall that they start to come back from Europe. So that's when the numbers are going to be the highest. But I'll just pick April. It's sorted down on a lot of cruise ships, but it also has all different types of cabin categories, from premium to suites to balconies to ocean view. So I want to limit that a little bit. Let's scroll down. Let's go to cabins only. And just for the sake of this, I'm going to click balcony. And I'm also going to click inside. Inside cabins are always going to be the cheapest by far. And then ocean view, then balcony. Let's give ourselves a few options. So the next thing you can do here is you've got 6 pages. You can then sort, if you'd like, by the cabin price per day. So I click right here, and it's going from lowest to highest. This actually means on this ship, in this case, it's actually coming out of South America, going to Rome for 18 days. It's only going to cost for 2 people, with gratuities, by the way, because Cruise Club includes gratuities, $122 per cabin per day for 2 people. That's pretty amazing. You may not want to sell an MSC. There's different opinions on different cruise lines. So let's just go a little further down. We can actually see on Royal Caribbean, they have the Explorer of the Seas. You can actually on that one sell for $75 per day per person with gratuities on an inside cabin. Now we can click here and we can see many more choices, and eventually we'll start to see some balconies. The cheapest balcony is going to be about $90 per day per person, $180 for the cabin, including gratuities. And that's Miami to Barcelona in April. So the more you click through here, as you can see, you'll have more and more options. Here's the Celebrity Ascent. This is a new ship. It's a 15-day, Fort Lauderdale to Rome, so the exact same thing that we sailed on, or at least the same itinerary. It's an inside cabin, but it's just $199 per day with gratuity. Now, you can, of course, if you want to, use the search on the left-hand side, and you can pick specific cruise lines if you want, or you only want to show Princess or Royal Caribbean. All that's pickable from here on the left-hand side. So you can see this is a really great way to pretty instantaneously get exactly what you're looking for. Just like that, you have now saved yourself all kinds of money on a transatlantic cruise. So I think you're ready to go. I know on this cruise overall, you can see our ratings were very high. The bigger the arrow, the bigger the rating. And we were very satisfied with it. It's one of my favorite cruises that we've taken in a long time, especially considering what we paid for it. Just so you know, for the internet, we paid $20 per person per day. So Monica and myself, we both had to have streaming internet. We used one of those discount promotions because I think normally it's about $25. So we got it down to about $19.20. And then gratuities, just so you know, you can't save on that. There's no special discounts because you want the crew to get their tips. We paid $18 per day per person that got charged to our account. So just realize that those extra expenses are there.
Overall, it was a really fantastic cruise experience. As you can see, in every category, they excel. And I'm really looking forward to doing the next crossing back to the U.S. in November.
So do us a favor and hit like and subscribe. That means a lot to our channel. Also, if you wouldn't mind, leave a comment down below. Tell us if you've ever taken a transatlantic cruise. If you've thought about a repositioning cruise, maybe you're planning one right now. I'll be happy to answer any questions that you have about your upcoming cruise. If you get a great deal, share it down below as well. I'm sure other people would love to see that. And hey, we hope to see you on the next crossing. Take care.